Tonight, we're going to talk about Robert G. Ingersoll. Now, it's a very dense sort of book. This is just volume 6. It's this big fat book. Volume 6. 500 pages worth. And there are 12 volumes in all. If you need to know, Robert G. Ingersoll is agnostic. And what he has to say on the subject of Orthodox Christianity is something every single Bible thumper really should be reading. Especially those who are about to commit a crime. But it's only against women, which of course are always men's property, because our delicate little lady brains. You're fools. This is a man who can run rings around you, who sees through all the little pompous crudities and cruelties and nonsense, superstition that you pump into your books, filled with platitudes and lies. It's all lies, written by men to make men feel very good about themselves indeed, because they're really very emotionally fragile creatures. Jesus Christ. They have to run around and shoot little kids to prove themselves men. Really? No one's going to take away my guns. Well, it's not like we're chopping them off with an axe. Yet. The sacramental view of marriage is the shield of vice. Because then, the man, since all the rules are in his favor, will have as many mistresses as he pleases. Yeah, and then you worry about public morality. Bunch of bloody hypocrites. No woman, when the world is civilized, no woman will become a mother against her will. Do you understand? This beholden back to superstitious, we must deal with magic because the sanctity of human life begins at conception. Well, then why am I not? I'm obviously alive, but my life is not sacred. No. My rights can be given and taken away in a heartbeat by a bunch of men who aren't elected, who never will be subjected to such a law, who will never have to make the difficult decision one way or the other. Women walk in the shadow of a death to give life to another. Do you not understand? Pregnancy is no guarantee that you're going to get a child or have a wife at the end of it. There is no guarantee. Death could be long and painful and drawn out, or it can happen in an instant. And there's some guy in the legislature somewhere. Well, why aren't ectopic pregnancies just as good as regular pregnancies? Look it up, you fool. a pregnancy that occurs outside of the womb is going to be death to them both. Do you get it now, dummy? Here you are legislating and talking about things you have no understanding of whatever. And if it takes this sort of thing to get it through your head, then I challenge you to read all 12 fucking volumes of Robert G Ingersoll, a man who is credited with resurrecting the reputation of Voltaire and Thomas Paine. His fight is for liberty, is for freedom, is for the republicanism of the home, where people are equal. Men and women have the same rights, except for one, because women are smaller and not given to practicing defensive moves and all the rest of this, pugilism. Guy's got to be willing to look at her back. Have her back. And nothing disgusts him more than a wife beater, a child beater, and some guy who feels he has to be the boss. So, his language is large. His knowledge is extensive. You can't fool him. You can't out-argue him. You have no means to combat him whatsoever. He can slice you into little ribbons without a single foul word, by being utterly polite, while he points out where you err. And he asks you questions that you don't want to answer, because then you'll reveal yourself as being a cruel, horrible human being. So, don't go talking Godspeak at me. Don't drag out your Bible. I have my Ingersoll, and I'll use them. People used to pay a great deal of money, $1 a head, to go out and listen to this man talk for 1, 2, 3 hours. His speeches are in the newspapers. People argue in the newspapers. One week you'll have the bishop. The next week you'll have Ingersoll. And then somebody else will bust in with his take. And then Ingersoll will reply the following week. And it goes on and on and on. Hey, might work. Might save a local paper or two. Might make some changes in some people's minds. But it's not often that you'll hear people called God a fiend point out to you that the devil was the only one who didn't lie in the Bible. He'll point out to you the mistakes Moses made. And yes, God did lie to Moses. Suckers, I'm telling you. The man writes so very well. But it was 1867. So, not quite as punchy and up-to-date as Mr. Christopher Hitchens. But his similes are great. His shipwreck, swimming to shore for his life and asking him for weather forecasts. He is so good. And the devil not having made an appearance, there was nothing to do in Eden. Not even civil service reform. Everybody's standing there waiting for a train. Come on. You've got to read Ingersoll. The man is a hoot. And he is madly in love with his wife. And he had his kids and he adored them all. And yes, he was raised Presbyterian to the max. You know how Sunday afternoons go when you're a Presbyterian. The sun is not there. The wife is knitting. And the eldest daughter is sitting there listening to the music that the youngest daughter is practicing on the piano while the father is reading his paper. The eldest daughter is sitting there wishing she were dead. Yeah. You gotta remember those times, right? Happy family hour. So yes, we understand sitting there in the pew and your feet not hitting the floor. That's okay. Everybody's been there. You can find these books, but unless you're into weightlifting, you know, there's some heavy books here, even in paperback. Get the ebook instead. That way you can have all 12 volumes in one slender application. Okay? One slender file. Save your back. And then, of course, you can adjust all the typefaces and so on. But it's available for free. Gutenberg or the Internet Archive. Pretty nice. I just have this thing about paper. So, yes, I got book 6 and book 4 of the works of Robert G. Ingersoll. Nice man. Very nice man. Very well written. I highly recommend him. Oh, and by the way, he trained as a lawyer. So I imagine he was very good on the attack. Might have been exciting to see him. Thank you for watching. I really hope this helps. You could get some pithy sayings to reply to your Bible-thumping friends or frenemies. Thank you for watching, and please do come again.